We can talk about each and every other plate and which way it's moving. But the whole point here is that the plates are moving and that they're being pressed in a direction that is directly opposed to the direction that we're told that they're moving. So we're told that GPS measurements say that such and such plate is moving this direction. Okay, like let's use Australia as an example. We're told Australia is moving predominantly, believe it or not, to the north now. They used to say it was moving to the south and the southeast and to the west and to the east, but now it's moving to the north.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
We're not being told anything, Dutch. We're actually observing the movement, and the movement is north. There's no room for argument here. You have to be an absolute idiot not to be able to look at a car moving on a highway, moving north, and then say it's moving opposite. The car is moving north. You can see it with your eyes. You can observe it. You can get a ruler out and measure the distance between the tires over time. They're moving north. And yet you're claiming that it's moving the opposite direction without any proof. That's pseudoscience, except that's really, really stupid pseudoscience. There's no way you can reason this out. I actually am flabbergasted that he actually stated this, because it just proves how insane his thinking is. If he thinks that a car moving north, and proven to be moving north through GPS measurements, to say that it's actually not going that direction? I mean, you're looking at the evidence and saying it's wrong. You're seeing the car move north and saying it's wrong. That's the epitome of stupidity. We would be back throwing sticks and stones at each other if that was the extent of our science.
Does anybody want to buy some rocks? I got a nice pebble here with your name on it. Hurry now. You can get it 50% off. Just pay shipping and handling. Order a rock now and get free wood.
So we're told that GPS measurements say that such and such plate is moving this direction.
We're not told it. We actually observe it. You can do it yourself. Buy a GPS unit, hook it up, and take measurements yourself from your own location. They teach this in university to students who are studying geology. They actually have them take sensitive GPS measurements and measure the direction of the plate's movements. It's part of the classes they teach. They observe it themselves.
Okay, like let's use Australia as an example. We're told Australia is moving predominantly, believe it or not, to the north now. They used to say it was moving to the south and the southeast and to the west and to the east.
Oh my gosh. Now you're making things up.
But now it's moving to the north according to all the measurements.
Yes, it's true. It's moving to the north.
Well, if Australia is moving to the north, where's the path that it moved from?
Do you see these striation marks here? Anytime you move an object in a direction, it leaves a trail. Does it not? What is the orientation of these trails and these marks? And notice up here, where it looks like material is bunching up, the depth isn't as deep, because it's moving north and it's causing this area of the seafloor to lift, so it's not as deep. It's moving north.
I mean, there should be a path that it left behind as it traversed across an area.
And it's right there, plain as eyes can see. But I guess a man who can't tell that a car is moving north and thinks it's actually moving south instead is all so mixed up and directionless that he can't tell which way is north or east or west or south.
Well, the other plates couldn't have moved either, because then everything would be moving that way.
That actually makes no sense whatsoever, just like many of his arguments.
We have a problem, Houston.
Yeah, we really do. Somebody doesn't know how to read the data properly.
Problem is that GPS measurements and supposed plate tectonic movements that we were told according to Pangea theory and everything else don't add up.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
But they do add up, and that's why the theories work. Dutchsinse, go back to school. Please go back to school. You're just telling people nonsense. You're teaching them things that puts them back in the Stone Ages. Every single soul that trusts what you say is being misled, is being dumbed down. They're being de-educated. And that's a really sad thing. It's really, really sad when you can convince someone that a car is moving in a specific direction and you tell them it's going in the opposite direction. It's actually backing up. It's not going forward. That's pretty silly, isn't it? This is the extent of Dutchsinse's science. So here's some advice for Dutchsinse. Step 1. Learn your ABCs.
A, B, A, B, A, B, C.
Before you try to speak in complete sentences.
A, B, A, B, A, B, C.
When you don't do that,
You sound like an idiot.
and it's actually quite embarrassing to listen to you talk, because your theories are so outrageous. Step 2. Your theories need to be observationally sound. You need evidence. You need proof. So far, you've provided 0. I've asked for months for you to provide information on your theories, like not just thoughts scribbled on a napkin. Something concrete. Where's the math that describes this? How do you explain that plates just bump around and jostle around and move in all sorts of different directions when they have the masses that they have? So, step 1, learn your ABCs, because you're right now speaking in incoherent sentences.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
You're babbling like a baby.
Hello? Is chicken a big chicken stadium?
Yeah?
It's
I love it when you talk this much.
Step 2, use observations and form your theories based on those observations. The plates are moving in one direction, they don't jostle around, they don't start going in the opposite direction. GPS would show that if it was true. They don't do that. Step 3, write your theories down in some sort of a format that allows other scientists to be able to look at your work and go, let's test this theory and see if it's right. Because so far, we don't even need to go into any of your ideas. We just have to listen to you and immediately can refute you through observations, through actual data. Go back to school, Dutch. Stop telling these people things that are not true. You're making a huge fool of yourself. Your entire so-called empire is built on fluff. There's nothing concrete holding this up. Please learn to read, Dutch. That's all I'm saying. Learn your ABCs. Once you know how to spell, then you can start forming sentences. Once you form sentences, there might actually be something intelligent in there that scientists can listen to. But until then, everything you say is meaningless. And not a single scientist really is going to care what you say. They care more about the people that you're misleading than about the things you actually say, because the things you say are meaningless. Your theories are completely out to lunch. And they'll continue to be out to lunch until you learn your ABCs.